This is Ken Pyle, and we're here at CES 2015. Autonomous cars are a huge topic, and we have Alain Kornhauser of Princeton, and he also is the author of the Smart Driving Cars?
Smart Driving Cars.
SmartDrivingCars.com, and it's one of the most insightful and easy to understand resources for smart cars, for self-driving cars and so forth. So, Alain, you're here at CES. You've been here for just a little bit. What do you expect to get out of this?
Well, I expect to see a number of the car manufacturers and look forward to what they're really trying to put forward in terms of smart driving cars. Smart driving cars are really, to me, cars that will really be safer, mostly. Collision avoidance, I think, is very, very important, and at some point become so darn good that they actually chauffeur us. So, but the short-term benefit of these things is for them to be very much safer than they are now, and that's a real opportunity.
Well, and that's one of the things I enjoy about your newsletter is the practical nature of it, and it seems like that's what you bring to this, is a very practical perspective.
Well, I hope so. I mean, I'm at Princeton, and I like to do the theoretical stuff too, and I do a lot of that as part of my day job. But I think what's important here, I have a lot of research publications on my shelves that have never gotten anywhere. I'm trying to help this get implemented and adopted, and that's where the real value is.
And you have something called Pave. Why don't you talk to that?
Right. So at Princeton, I have something called Princeton Autonomous Vehicle Engineering, Pave, and it's really a student operation in which we've been automating cars since the 2005 Grand Challenge, and we're now working on a Ford Fusion. Bill Ford of Ford was kind enough to give us a car. He's a Princeton grad, class of '79, and he's helped us out, and we've reverse engineered that, and we're about ready to put it out on the road and see if it can do it by itself.
Yeah, is New Jersey one of the 4 states that allows that sort of thing?
Well, New Jersey is not now, but I have played a role in advancing legislation in New Jersey. We passed unanimously in the Senate, before the Transportation Committee, the Budget Committee, and in the whole Senate, 35 zip. So we had bipartisan support. We're now bringing it before the Assembly, and I think New Jersey wants to be a player. New Jersey is really, when you look at New Jersey, its diversity of demand and how people live from congested northeast New Jersey to very rural South New Jersey. We are really a perfect test bed for these technologies, both just for their anti-collision and safety aspect, but eventually for their driverless autonomous mobility that they could provide, enhanced mobility for everyone, the very young, the very old, everybody, and in a sense revolutionize mass transit.
There are a lot of naysayers for various things. We, insurance liability, the, security, and so forth. What do you say to that?
I love insurance because I have a very short one-liner. I believe that the automated anti-collision technology can be placed in a vehicle at a cost that is less than the present value of the expected liability savings that technology will deliver. Now, that's a little bit of a long statement, but what it really means is that the technology pays for itself through the insurance savings. If that's true, then my friend Mike Scrudato at Munich Reinsurance will be able to buy and pay for this technology and make more money. And so in a sense, it's an enormous win-win. It will allow the consumer to have the technology, in a sense, for free, as long as they continue to pay their insurance premiums, and the insurance company will end up keeping more of those insurance premiums instead of spending them on lawyers, doctors, body shops, and so on, and therefore make more money. And then the lives saved, the injuries averted, the hassles and the lives in families that will be averted all come for free. So to me, this is absolutely the best business case for any technology that I've ever heard of. It almost seems it's unbelievable. But I think that that's what's going to be propelling this technology, and with insurance companies that see this, what we're going to find is that in fact it will allow for basically the viral adoption of these systems, and for us to really gain their benefit very much earlier than we would have otherwise gained it.
Well, and that makes sense from what some of the things I've seen here already at the show as far as the cost of technology dropping.
The cost of technology is absolutely dropping, and what's interesting about most of this technology, it's consumer electronics type technology. It behaves like Moore's law. It gets twice as good and costs half as much every 18 months or something, and you can see this happening. And so this is going to be an enormously valuable contribution to society.
I'm curious of your background. This is a very multidisciplined thing. It's not about technology only, because you do get all these other things in there. What's your background? What drove you to this?
Well, I'm a space cadet. I was going to Mars and beyond. I was at Cape Canaveral, Kennedy, for the launch of Apollo 11 and blah, blah, blah. My PhD's in aerospace engineering. I've been a professor for now, what's this, my 45th year as a professor. Also ran a company and did a company for 33 and a half years, so I guess I learned how to do that. And in the end, I've been all about trying to automate transportation, at least for the last 43 or more years. And this is, I think, finally, it's coming to fruition. I think we're really close. And really close to delivering enormous value to everyone.
Well, and that's really important, because you bring that perspective of someone who's had decades of probably being close, right?
I've been there. I think I've done most. Yes, and it's really exciting. I think this one's real. Back 20 years ago, I pioneered turn-by-turn navigation. The GPS things. I knew those things everybody would end up wanting one and using one. And originally, it was tough. They didn't really work and so on. And now nobody goes anywhere without one. Certainly within 10 years, if not sooner, all the cars will have automated collision avoidance systems. Crashes will be cut at least in half for those vehicles that have it. And the benefits for this will then be derived by everyone. I can't see a family buying a car for a teenager that doesn't have this. Every teenager has their first accident within 3 weeks of, that's going to be a thing of the past. And as we're finding, people want to put so much entertainment and comfort things in vehicles. Much of the time, you just don't want to drive them. So you drive them when you want to drive them, and the vehicle drives itself when you don't want to, and everybody's happy and safer, and insurance pays for it.
And it's going to change our cities too. Do you have any advice for city planners and city politicians and so forth?
I have a lot of advice, because I think that what this evolves to is at a point where these vehicles really can drive themselves without anybody in them. We can do that now with low-speed vehicles in somewhat protected environments, but it won't be very long. The Google will have its car being able to drive on most streets that are driven. A lot of streets are never driven, but most streets that are driven. And I think what that's going to afford is the opportunity for then fleet operators to buy fleets of these, like a transit company, and be able to then offer mobility services, not just along a few bus lines where there happens to be enough people to fill a bus, but in the kind of environments that I think we would all like to live, slightly lower density environments, and be able to pick you up, take you to where you want to go, and when you get out, the vehicle goes and serves somebody else. You go do your thing. When you're done with it, the vehicle's there to pick you up and take you to where you want to go. It will be sort of a chauffeured Downton Abbey. We'll all have the chauffeur, but it will be a computer. The real advantage of this is when you look at it from a cost basis, because there's no labor in the mobility. then the cost of providing that mobility will be dropped by an order of magnitude, by a factor of 10. I mean, the reason why a taxi cab costs what it costs is because, the cab driver has to make a living wage and can't really serve everybody all the time. She has to sit around and wait for you and so on. They need to be paid for this. Computers don't need to be paid for that. And all of a sudden now the mobility is available. So that's going to completely transform things. Parking lots. Parking lots are what? Storage facilities for your car while it waits for you. If the vehicle that brought you there no longer has to sit there and wait for you, then a shopping mall doesn't need those parking lots. Michigan Avenue in Chicago, the back end of Michigan Avenue is nothing but parking lots. Don't need those anymore. So it will really transform cities, because then where these vehicles, when they're not needed, are basically stored, doesn't need to be next to the high-priced land in the center of a shopping mall or a movie complex or a football stadium or any of those things. So all of a sudden, it's really going to transform what our living environment looks like. Will we need 3-car garages? Well, if you have toys, you can store them there, but the normal reason for a 3-car garage is just not there. How many of these things will we own? Probably none of the driverless ones, because if we can't drive it, why own it? We might own one that we drive some of the time, but the rest of the time we'll use the service that's being provided. So I think that's where we're going, and that's going to be an enormous transformation. The opportunity to provide that also provides you an opportunity for ride sharing and a great opportunity for removing congestion. So in the studies that we've done with my students in New Jersey, basically with a fleet of, let's say, 1.5 million automated vehicles, you could serve all the mobility demand in New Jersey and basically eliminate congestion and cut energy consumption in half, pollution in half, blah, blah, blah. So there are enormous opportunities once we get there. But I think there's value to be derived as we're getting there. There's value to be derived today. And then I think that's what we're seeing here at CES is the beginning of the provision of that value.
Excellent. Well, Alan, I really appreciate your time today. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.